Off and on the clock with the Badge Bros. I was trying to do like the John accent there for a second where he does his like deep voice to start, but I really butchered it there. I got to work on my Canadian accents. But we do have Off and on the clock. Week 11 slate here, and we are going to walk through it all. Our favorite ADP values, scroll down, gems, small field strategy, 12-person draft strategy. And then you know what we do. We spice it up. We slop it up with some of our signature pick'ems. And I feel like we have been so close. We got to buck the trend here today and hit on some pick'ems. I'm Pete with the Badge Bros. Let's do it. Badge Bros, John Warner. How do you do it, John? It's something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of comes natural. Underdog daily with the Badge Bros.
There it is.
And it's always like you do the deeper affect and then it like completely goes away. But for your intro, Underdog, Badge Bros, John Warner here.
Oh man, that's gonna be the new Davis impression of our generation. I was crying when you attempted it the first time. Second go round was pretty good though.
I was not ready for that bit at all. I think John, that's a good sign that people are doing bits on your intros. It's like it's not quite Levitan level, but like it's I think you put yourself in a
I've always obviously been a Badge Bros enjoyer, but now that I've been playing NBA, I've been watching more of your guys' streams, more of the badges only stream, Wemby's only, and so yeah, I just have John's intro in my head more than usual.
It's actually pretty cool this year. We've seen the maintain between football and NBA. Last year, you could see like a little bit of drop off in our viewership and like the football shows would spike and stuff like that. I think a lot of people are in the same camp as you, Pete, where it's like they're getting the itch to just draft and then they see how big the prize pools are in NBA and they're like, oh, maybe I got to learn some hoops here.
Yeah, I'm excited too because part of me was like, I don't have enough time to juggle this like in season. But now that I'm starting to like build up a base, learn a little bit, get in a rhythm, then when the NFL season is done and like hoops is the only thing in town, and then I can even devote more time to it, I'm like, that'll be particularly fun.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the overarching thesis of multi-sport draft league is it's all secular knowledge, right? Just keep playing.
Yeah. That's right. Nez, how are you doing this week as we head into Friday?
Doing well, man. I'm going pretty hard at the Dawg Bowl just because there's only two more weeks left to try to get in there. And earlier this week, so far this week, my wife has been away, so I get to buckle down even more and just head in the phone. The screen time, I don't even want to see the notification on Sunday. I don't even want to know what my numbers are this week, but I was going really hard at the Dawg Bowl and I've got 50 done right now. So I think that'll probably put me at like an 80 pace. I'm going to do as many as I can, only 2 more weeks. I've been having some nice success in the hoop street. So I need to put that to good use and get some entries down. I think next week it's going to feel really fast if I had to guess.
Last call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I kind of like soft way. Normally I try to get at a few Dawg Bowls. I will do a couple during the Nez No Strip stream tonight, but I've not done a Dawg Bowl. I've been dialed into the BR. I'm like 30 deep. I'm just gonna stick at what I do best. I suck at the Dawg Bowls. I'll let you guys have your fun, and I'll see you there anyways.
That's right.
I mean, like it's a blessing and a curse to see you there as well, because I've had that notion in my mind a couple of times too, where it's like, I'm going to get to enjoy the fun no matter what. But man, I'd really like to be the Nez of last year, this year, and be the guy who's competing in there, who actually scrolls the F down and takes the Desmond Ridder stack.
That's honestly, dude, the only reason you want a ticket is because you want to dial up the grossest vomit stack possible. That's literally the only reason. You don't even care about the prize pool. You're just like, can I make the crowd gasp with one of these selections?
It's so sick that's exactly how my brain works. Yeah. I would be like, Taysom Hill in the third, and then who can we scroll the F down for a double stack that nobody else is going to click in the last 2 rounds? A Geno double to Tyler Lockett and Noah Fant, and the whole crowd goes wild.
Yeah. Oh my God.
All right, we always have a lot of ground to cover, so let's dive in right now. And I'll get the ADP pulled up. I think that's generally. I know you guys do kind of a bigger macro overview. I know people watch my show with JM where we kind of do bigger macro stuff. So I think it's more interesting to get right into kind of the ADP in slate dynamic. So as I get this pulled up here, what are some of the things you guys are noticing this week on Underdog?
Man, yeah, I wish there was more running backs to draft. Don't you agree? Like, can't there just be like more running backs? I mean, it's insane how many there are and how interchangeable I feel like they all are after CMC as well. Like, if somebody wanted to put Kyron at 2, I wouldn't blame them. If they wanted to take Bijan at 2, such as myself, I wouldn't blame them. I mean, there's just a ton of great picks at running back. And for the BR, I think it's just like, it's really hard not to start your draft with like 2 of these guys because it's such a loaded position. And I think wide receiver as well is pretty deep when you get to, when it's time to take your wide receiver 1 and 2, those picks feel pretty solid too. So it's just like a really dense slate, if I had to describe it in a word, where I'm loving all these different options. And I just think that you can build some monster teams this week, man. It's a tough week for me to scroll. I will say it's been tough. I mean, depending on how you define a scroll this week, it's been tough for me. What do you think, John? Sorry, Pete.
Now, I was just going to say, one thing I've noticed is this is probably the strongest third round of drafts that we've had in a long time. Like we've talked in the previous weeks where like after pick 12, 13, like scroll to whoever, like it doesn't matter. Like third round is loaded this week between the tight ends, between the Rams wide receivers, Tyreek Hill, Breece Hall. Like there is so much down there. So I have noticed that as well, that I'm not scrolling as early as I used to. I'm still scrolling, but man, I'm grabbing these players at the 3-4 turn that don't feel like they're 3-4 turn players.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it the last couple of weeks there where like it was like a stark line in the sand after like pick 8, pick 10, and then it was kind of choose your own adventure. That line in the sand this week is, as you guys are alluding to, like 18, 15, 18, somewhere in that pick vicinity, that then you can kind of do the choose your own adventure because there's such highly projecting plays late there. The other thing I've really noticed is in weeks past, it would be like a tier from like the 101 that like 2 players in contention here, 3 players, then there'd be another tier of 4, and then there'd be another tier of 4. Man, it's truly choose your own adventure out here where some people don't like Henry this week. Some people think he's the 101 or 102, something like that. Some people don't like Kyron at all. ETR has him at 3. Like there's this balancing act of your own portfolio. You could get densely exploitative with this week at the top end of draft boards, which is an anomaly because normally you have to kind of stay in your lane for like the first 8 picks. But if you want to have like 80% Kyron this week, power to you. If you want to do that with Bijan, whomever else, if you want to do it with Justin Jefferson, you can basically get them picks 1 through 6. So it's a very portfolio management laden weekend in the BR streets.
Yeah, and to kind of piggyback on that, an important week to be mixing up your combos or being cognizant of your combos up here because it is such a big tier and people are going to get funneled to similar stuff by ADP. So I think it is a good week to mix and match because you're not going to sacrifice anything. You're not sacrificing projected points by basically mixing and matching any of these guys in the top 20 picks. So I think you can get some funky stuff. And like to that point, right? I think the guys over on the in-game, stuff have mentioned this too, of like, generally only 4 to 5 guys are technically supposed to be drafted in 100%. Like if you want to start a team with 2 second-round picks this week, you can. Like if you think Derrick Henry's a landmine, if you think Justin Jefferson's going to flop again, like there's nothing wrong with starting with, Kyron and Puka Nacua or, whatever kind of combo that is. So I would just say definitely be open to not being tethered to ADP at the top this week.
Yeah. And in that same vein, like the quote unquote GMs are going to exist ad nauseum because people have very polarizing views of this slate, depending what draft room you're in. So like, pairing ADP 3 with ADP 4 would have been damn near impossible in weeks past. This week it's happened multiple times to me in small 30 draft sample.
Yep. Yeah. What do you like you said, running back is really strong, all the way through JT. And then you kind of see the drop off to Kenneth Walker. I mean, there's awesome scrolls that we'll talk about in a second as well. Wide receiver, pretty similar, like really strong through Garrett, Zay. And then tight end is strong here at the top as well. Kelsey, Kittle, Bowers, I think all have a case to being up here. I think quarterback is kind of interesting just because Allen and Lamar at the top, as I think they should be, but they're also not in particularly juicy matchups. Like they obviously can get home. These guys always can the way they play, but like versus KC and at Pittsburgh are not, like licking your chop matchups.
No, not at all. And I mean, it's interesting because, depending on where you look, Purdy looks better than Josh Allen this week. And he has, better stacking options, in my opinion. Like it feels like if Purdy's getting home, somebody's getting home with him, right? I mean, like like Josh Allen can do a lot more with his legs, obviously, than Purdy can. So, I have a lot of Purdy right now. It's been hard for me to like take a quarterback that isn't in this top three for me. But I think once again, you can do some naked QB this week in the BRs. And I think if you're not actively trying to do that, like telling yourself like, I need naked QB in my portfolio, I'm not saying naked QB is guaranteed to hit. I'm saying that you should probably consider making that an intentional thing when building out these main BR teams, because you got to be very close to perfect these days. And it's very likely that you do not need a stacking partner for quote unquote optimal this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the toughest quarterback slate we've had all season long, and it's because there's such a stark tier break between the way the top three are projecting, and then it's kind of choose your own adventure with the stacking partners behind. And everyone's kind of gravitating to also playing naked quarterback on the scroll down, which is abnormal. A lot of people, like the most repeated combo over and over again with a back end stack will be George Pickens and Russell Wilson because people are pushing him up, especially in the dog bowls there, right? So what ends up happening is people get boxed out of guys they want to stack with, and they end up just clicking Bo Nix over and over again as their default, like scroll the F down in quotations now as ADPs pushed up. So like what I'm really trying to do is if I don't get Lamar, and I'm totally fine running Lamar naked, if I don't get Lamar or a Purdy stack, I just scroll the F down and I do like Geno skinnies, Jameis skinnies, and Anthony Richardson naked, and just try and 1v1 Anthony Richardson versus the Bo Nix teams. I know Bo Nix will project better. I know Bo Nix has played a lot better. I'm just playing it that way.
Yeah. I'm tilting the Bo Nix steam for reasons you can probably imagine. I do agree with you though. It is a really, it was a tough week for finding a really attractive option, down here at quarterback for scroll stuff. And it's probably the most push yourself outside your comfort zone scroll at quarterback that we've had in a while, because even those other weeks, it's like you have the Kirk Cousin there who's like going undrafted and Drake London's a really strong play, or you have Geno who's way far down there and DK Metcalf's a really strong play. That we had the Baker with Godwin week where it's like, okay, yeah, Baker's QB 11, but it's just such an obvious stack with Godwin who's projecting so well. Like those comfort scrolls at quarterback are hard to come by. You mentioned it. It's Russell Wilson with Pickens. That's the comfort one. And outside of that, like you really have to essentially kind of force it or dial it up because it's not going to come naturally to you.
Can I ask you guys two of them?
Yeah.
What are our thoughts on Aaron Rodgers? Because three pieces of that offense go every single time against what we've been a secondary in which we've been targeting there. So what are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers, first of all? And then what are your guys' thoughts on stacking Matthew Stafford in the same vein, or two, I guess you could lump in there? Like, are those guys that you guys are even considering, or would you just rather try and jam naked quarterback and then play those players as isolated their own entities?
I've been more likely to do it naked if I have a stack of those teams for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Rodgers is being taken more than Stafford. Is that correct or incorrect? I guess it looks incorrect, huh? Do I see?
Yeah, Stafford's ahead.
3%. And Rodgers, doesn't even have an ownership in here.
Wow. Yeah. So I think that makes Aaron Rodgers, pretty clickable for BR, right? Like you said, that all his pieces are going. It's a matchup people like, and you're going to get insane leverage on Aaron Rodgers. So I like that call. I really do. I mean, he needs the touchdowns to get there, but are they going to anybody other than Devontae or Garrett Wilson, or if he's getting there? No.
Yeah, and I will I'll give a shout out. So Nerdy Tenor, has been doing some of the optimal rates and even splicing it on specific quarterbacks. And Stafford and Rodgers are two of the top three. I won't give away everything. You got to go get it over there from those guys, but two of the top three for the highest double stack rates. And it makes sense, right? Super condensed offense, elite wide receiver options in Wilson Adams and Kupp Nakua. Those are really the only guys that pop from a double stack perspective. Obviously you can still skinny stack those guys, but it just makes sense. Like if you are getting to them, you want to be heavily investing in that team.
Yeah, I think I like playing those three condensed offenses and even Sam Darnold to a little lesser extent, but in the same vein. I prefer doing that than doing naked Bo Nix at ownership, naked Drake May, who gets drafted a decent amount, and who was the other one I was thinking of? The Love stuff. Everybody's in love with doing the Jordan Love skinny stack in the 5th and 6th round. And I just don't get it. I don't see it. Bears are good against the pass. I would rather just play Josh Jacobs as a one-off with that one. So anyways, that was my preamble on quarterback.
And it's probably one of my going to be one of my worst reads on how the Bo Nix stuff shook out, because I thought it was going to be based on Sutton's ADP that people were clicking Sutton, and then the majority of Knicks teams were with Sutton. But I think you're right. I think the majority of it's a bailout, sexy naked quarterback. And I still think he's going to be stacked with Sutton a good bit, but I don't think it's going to be as outrageous as I thought, to where I initially thought Bo Nix naked was going to be more unique. I guess another one to juxtapose it with, and because they fall in a similar ADP range, is what percentage of Tillman teams, who also has a similar ADP as Sutton, are going to come with Jameis? Probably a much higher percentage than even the Knicks with Sutton.
I like doing Jameis naked. I think that's kind of a crazy take. But like you said, Pete, so much of JMO is going to Cedric Tillman. And I mean,
and it goes every time too.
Yeah. And I mean, good players, right? But I think JMO's throwing so much, and Jerry Judy's getting targets, Elijah Moore's getting targets. If you get a touchdown to, one of those guys, then you're in pretty good shape with a naked Jameis Winston. And if Jameis Winston is taken, it's got to be close to 75%, if not greater, paired with Tillman or Njoku.
Yeah. No, I think you're completely right. And this was a leak in my game in years past, because generally I would look at this spot, and my reaction to the Tillman ADP would be this is a really fragile spot. The field's overconfident that it's Tillman. Let me do skinnies or doubles with Winston to Elijah Moore or Judy. And it's you don't even need to get that thin. You can capture it with Jameis and get a highly projectable wide. You can take Jacoby Myers, who's going undrafted, and pair him there and get a better ceiling from those guys and capture the 3 touchdown, 4 touchdown game exclusively through naked Winston. So I like that call.
Yeah, I like that a lot too, Nez. Because I'm like you, Pete. It's always been a leak in my game where I've funneled myself to those skinny stacks over and over because it feels so much more comfy. It feels like such a fake sharp move to take Jameis naked, but it makes too much sense in only 6-person rosters with no salary.
And I think that the difference, right? I do think there are spots where that makes sense. Last year, the times I was doing it a lot was Tank Dell versus Nico. Granted, we think about those players a lot differently now. Last year, it was a lot with Josh Downs and Pittman, where you have the 1As 60% of the offense and the 1Bs 40%, and the 1As getting drafted 100% in the other. And so it's no, that's a clean pivot. When it's completely spread out, then I think the tree, that you're getting funneled to, or whatever the logic tree should be, no, naked quarterback, none of these weapons emerge. Where it gets tricky is with, say, a spot like the Seahawks, right? Where it's a little ambiguous. It's not in either of those directions. Like, how would you guys play Geno this week? Because I do think he's kind of interesting.
I'm playing Geno via Metcalf because it's just so cheap to do so. Like, I think if we had just known all week that Geno was 100% or that Metcalf was 100% going to play, and we had seen one of those back-to-back 100-yard games that we'd seen previously. I mean, like, nobody throws more than Geno too. So I just think the offense looked borderline inept at times without him outside of the one JSN game there. But I find myself just doing it to Metcalf because I trust it. But I definitely need to mix in JSN if I'm as bullish on the Geno stuff as I appear to be.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to play Geno, man, because I want to. I think this game with its total, I don't think a whole lot has to happen for this to turn into like a super fun shootout. I've no problem or no concerns about the Niners holding up their end of the bargain, but Geno connects on some deep balls here, like even just one here, and the tide of this game can change, I think, pretty dramatically. This is a Seahawks team we've been waiting to see explode. I mean, Pete got home with that in the overtime game, and now we had DK Metcalf to this team. I mean, Geno's, spoiler alert, is going to be in my core here. I'm excited for this game. I'm excited for this game, and I don't have enough of it in my portfolio.
And I mean, it's there's so much. You get DK Metcalf coming back. He's their best receiver. We're coming off a monster JSN game. Lockett's usage has still been sneaky good. He was in the Leone, buy low model this week. Like, I wouldn't laugh at anyone for having any of those Geno skinny stacks in their portfolio this week.
No, I fully agree there. The last time we saw that game too, like, it was Thursday night game with a little bit of rain and no Christian McCaffrey, and it still went 36-24.
Yeah. And I will say, I was, using my athletic subscription, and they were talking about the Seahawks and Grubb and McDonald coming out of the bye, that they're like, oh yeah, we saw what JSN did there, and we need to make him a bigger part of our offense, like down the stretch. If we'll see, right? Because they've had lots of opportunities to try to make that happen when DK's on the field, and it hasn't, but I am sitting here looking at my guy. Yeah.
Shane Waldron should have used the bye to figure that shit out last year.
Well, he's got plenty of time to figure it out now.
Yeah, he needs a trip to Thailand, Cliff style, to figure it out.
There you go.
Let's talk about some other like scroll stuff here. We've kind of hit on a few of these wide receiver spots as far as with the Browns, the Seahawks. Let's stay at wide receiver, and then we can hit kind of running back and tight end since we did quarterback. What other kind of wide receiver stuff kind of jumps out to you guys? I'll say, after the Cedric Tillman price, basically.
Nez and I are going to say the same one here.
You say it.
Juwan Jennings.
Yeah.
Juwan Jennings just playing the X role, taking over for Ayuk there. 11 targets last week. They paid him. People forget that they paid him before they paid Ayuk. Obviously, it wasn't as much money, but they knew they wanted him around. I think he's just like good, cheap access to that game and good leverage off of the three other San Fran pieces that go every single time. Maybe you could say it to a lesser extent with Pearsall, had the big 50-plus yard touchdown last week, but I'm buying volume over the one isolated one-off instance there. So, yeah, Jennings, JSN, those two down there. Yeah.
The Jennings stuff is crazy, man. Like, he really is. It's nuts to say he's who we wanted Brandon Ayuk to be. Like, full stop. That's
literally
what Jennings is. And if his name was Brandon Ayuk and he did what he did last week, he would have an ADP of 23 this week.
Yeah, I think even higher.
And he's already shown us a massive ceiling, earlier in the season when given that opportunity. Yeah, and he's just like far too cheap, and the usage. The volume is there. This isn't just like, he's not like he's doing like giga QJ stuff. Like the target shares are there. The results are there. The matchup is insane. You get in certain rooms and people are also like, buying this as well. But in BRs, Juwan Jennings is that a 21 is that a 21% projected ownership in BR? Is that out of 100? Obviously, yeah. That's great leverage.
One thing you can notice though, and I'm not saying it's bad at all. I still like Juwan too. You can see him next to these other ones. He's coming in even higher than this pocket, right? Like he stands out among these. Yeah.
I bet, like, I'm just inferring how they build their model or whatever, but I think that's tethered to the fact that Purdy goes 100% frequency where the other quarterbacks don't, right?
I think that's probably, yeah. You could say Shakir though would be in similar boat.
No Coleman and no Kincaid this week, so the Shakir one looks like a nice click.
I was worried about the Shakir stuff getting out of hand, but I think Amari being back in is gonna keep it in check. If Amari was ruled out, then he would have been on a rocket ship. I mean, we should talk about Devontae Adams, right? Like the dude had a 40% target share last week. He missed a couple of practices before today. He practiced. He's going to be good to go. But because of that, and because of the dud last week, he has an ADP of 34.1. Like this is pretty rare to get this matchup, this player, this market share as a scroll the F down gem at the same fucking ownership as Juwan Jennings. I mean, are we slamming Devontae?
Yeah, this is insane, man. This is absolutely nuts. I mean, this is like the perfect storm of like why you should be playing on Underdog, right? Like, the volume is there. His quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. The spot is good. We know he's going to play, and he opened up with that Q tag. But because of the box scores and the Q tag, and like people think the Jets are a dumpster fire, and you know what? They are. But like this is why you play on Underdog, because this Devontae Adams projected ownership and this price is just insane, man. Like he might not pay off, sure, he might not, but the leverage you are getting, like he's just such an obvious smash pick with all these factors.
I was shocked to see him projecting above Garrett Wilson on some sites.
I don't think it's insane based on his target share. I guess it's debatable, like if he is officially like the first read in the red zone. We saw a couple weeks ago Garrett Wilson getting a couple of those red zone targets, but it is really hard to poke holes in this spot. I think people just feel burned from last week. But man, if this is not like the ultimate get right spot, Vegas agrees. They have a 24-point team total. Colts secondary, very beatable. I know Rodgers has looked rough, but I don't see any reason why he can't bounce back in this spot. And I'm having a hard time like leaving drafts without one jet on them at these prices. Brees is underpriced. I know he doesn't have the role we all kind of hoped he would at the beginning of the year, but I still think when we're looking at risk reward stuff, it is kind of similar to the Barkley stuff, right? Where it's like he needs the explosives to break the slate, but the dude has the explosives in his bag. Like I still think he could rip off some long ones for us. So I don't know, man. I like taking these Jets pieces.
I agree with you, Pete. We put Brees on the cover on Wednesday's show there for the same reason. Like just looking at his price point relative to the other running backs and stuff like that. The fact that you can get Brees as an RB2 in the third round sometimes is just wow. Yeah.
Any other? Let's hop over to tight end. I feel like we gave the people some good scrolls here at wide receiver. Tight end, honestly, I feel like kind of mirroring quarterback in a tougher week. Like obviously tight end so low scoring, you can talk yourself into any of these guys. But as far as like really strong scrolls, I was struggling this week. What stands out to you guys now that, Taysom is, on the fringe of the scroll category?
I like Hunter Henry as always, man. I'm a fan of the spot against the Rams. I think this is like a sneaky, really fun game. And I love doing Hunter Henry. You can emergency stack them with Drake May, which is going to be like very, very popular, or you can just scroll down and take him as a one-off because he's going to be so low owned, and understandably, right? The top 6 tight ends are studs, just absolute studs. But getting down to Hunter Henry there in a very variant, low scoring position, I think makes a lot of sense. I mean, we talked about it via like the first visual data sets that we've had on BRs was like, look at how good it is to scroll at tight end. Look at how much sense it makes to scroll at tight end. So Hunter Henry jumping off the page for me is like one of the best scroll downs at tight end this week.
Yeah, I like the comp to the quarterback position where it is a little stars and scrubby, where it's like you got to make the concerted decision in each of your rooms if you want to do the Kelsey Kittle Bowers, or it becomes just a punt, and at that point you should just be scrolling past that mid tier. I probably won't have a ton of TJ Hawkinson this week. I will definitely be mixing David Njoku. I'm scared of the Mark Andrews stuff with Isaiah Likely practicing in full and coming back. Obviously, they can both live alongside each other, and they have, Mark Andrews on that touchdown heater. But like the routes and snaps tend to go down in a decent way with him not on the field there. So I'm kind of fading that Mark Andrews one. I'll click Taysom. I'll click Pitts, just because that's what I'm about. I've done Johnny once or twice just as leverage off of the Miami stuff going up there, and the fact that Hill is questionable as well. So just might open up some more route participation for him, because it was trending in the right direction, then it trended in the wrong direction. But if Julian Hill can't play, maybe he's just out there more, falls into the end zone. But yeah, it's a weird week for tight end scrolls.
It's tough. One other ones that I think you could make a case for. We just said Russ with Pickens is going to be extremely popular. It's a good matchup for the entire passing game. I think you could do Russ to Freiermuth skinnies. If he binks those 2 TDs, pretty big leverage on all the Pickens stacks. In similar thought process with Dawson Knox. If a lot of Josh Allen teams are going to be paired with Cooper or Shakir, you get the skinny here at the lowest scoring position. And his role without Kincaid has been good. I don't think you're actually sacrificing that much, and his touchdown equity is probably even slightly better. So I think there's some stuff you could do down here, but man, like once we're down into the Noah Gray, Davis Allen territory, you could probably find better ways to spend $7.
I think so too.
I mean, the Davis Allen role was kind of nice last week, was it not?
Yeah, it was nice, but like there's just no, it's 5 for 34.
Right.
Probably not going to have like much of a red zone role. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe that's more of a John Dog Bowl kind of play.
You're not wrong, man. I'm looking at fantasy life utilization report. I didn't have time to grind position by position on here yet, but I mean, Colby Parkinson is officially out of the picture. 14% of routes for him, 88% of routes for Davis Allen. So I mean, I'll give you that, man. I'll give you that for sure.
I know people.
I'll give it to you, but I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, that's the caveat.
Yeah. The other one we didn't talk about there was Cole Kmet with like new OC and phasing out of Gerald Everett and that sort of thing. Is anyone touching anything on the Bears side of this game?
I'm so broken, man. I've been chasing it a lot of weeks.
I feel the same way.
The thing is like, if it was just the play calling, it's hard to untangle, right? Because obviously Waldron's a big issue, but Caleb Williams has been very, very bad. And the question is, how much of that are we going to blame on the OC stuff? How much better can he actually get? And then on top of that, you run into issues that we just talked about a little bit with the Seattle pass catchers, the Browns pass catchers, the Packers pass catchers, where it's so spread out with those three that it's like the sickest thing is it's probably like Caleb would be a naked quarterback to run, like, or Caleb to Kmet. So I just don't know how you attack that. It doesn't seem like a good game. I don't know, man. It's tough.
Yeah, like ETR had it as pace down game too, and then obviously Packers secondary has been good, and they're missing O-line pieces. And the change at coordinator is a guy who played so effing slow at the tail end of last year with the Panthers. So it kind of all just comes up red flags for me. But I see people in the Dog Bowl consistently taking like Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and a little bit of Kmet in the later rounds there. And I don't know, am I missing something here? But I'm not sure that I am.
I mean, I was a truther, man, and no, I'm off. I've taken my L, sold my bags, and I'm moving on.
And the thing is about the Kmet stuff, right? Is like Hunter Henry is just the better version of the Kmet play at the same effective ownership, right? You're gonna get a guy who has a bit more of a downfield role. He is the focal point of their passing offense. It's just like I could see it in the 12 mans, but I think in the 6 persons, it's just like you can take Tucker Kraft, you can take Hunter Henry, you can take Pitts, and I don't think you have to mess around with it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys listened to. Sorry, I didn't know if you guys listened to the walkthrough yet, but Crane threw some pretty cold water on New England this week, just in terms of like the way the Rams defense is good at defending the splash zone and like all that intermediate stuff that Drake's been good at and Hunter Henry's been good at is what the Rams are good at on defense. So it's just like an interesting matchup there too.
Yeah. And I could definitely see it being a Ramondre game as well. He was a guy we didn't mention when we did, running back scrolls. I think he's in that conversation
in the dog bowls.
In the dog bowls, yeah. His role has been awesome, and I mean, Antonio Gibson is a figment of the imagination at this point. And they didn't even have to use him in the passing game last week because the Bears were so inept. In his other big games, he's been getting, 4 to 5 targets, which definitely seems like a game where, the Rams are up a touchdown and he's on the field a ton. So I think that's a good call. You guys want to do should we do a Deposit Kingdom draft here?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right. Shout out. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking through some of the running back stuff because we didn't actually put them like up on screen there when we were talking about them. But like some of the scrolls for me were like Jacobs, Aaron Jones. I put David Montgomery on the cover as 14-point favorites kind of thing. Where else? You guys said the Ramondre one there. Any other love for some guys?
Yeah, I think the ones you named are good. I'll save one for my video. I'll give you the gross one. You want like the super deep, probably slightly too thin?
Yeah.
Alexander Madison.
Ooh.
Is he getting drafted in the dog bowls, Des?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I think that's a really good dog bowl pick then, even if it's slightly too thin.
He literally doesn't have an ADP right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have outscrolled me, Pete. Incredible stuff. That is a good one.
His role has been pretty solid. I mean, in week 9, they were using Amir Abdullah a little bit, which is obviously a bit of a wrench, but he's still been like a big high value touch guy for them. And then coming out of the bye, you kind of never know what kind of shakeout we could get, but it's not the worst matchup there. And again, it's just like, it's a slightly worse version, I think, of the Ramondre play. But again, in those dog bowls, if he has 0 ownership, that's pretty interesting.
I think mine, the last one I'll say, it's more of a do as I say, not as I do thing, because I'm not taking this guy, but I have best ball bags. Audric Estime, they came out and said they want to give him a bigger role. They went out and they gave him a big role. Like, I don't see that going anywhere. And now they're favored against the Falcons, and I think that game can go way north right now of its total. I mean, Audric Estime got 14 carries last week.
Yeah,
that can go. That can get increased. I think Audric Estime is a pretty good player. I described him whenever I was like, doing my amateur highlights watching. I mean, he kind of looks like what they wanted Javonte Williams to be. Very similar style where he's not like shifty or anything, but he just like is hard to tackle. And I think Sean Payton kind of likes that. Reminds me, not stylistically or anything, but like, similar to Ingram, that type of back that Payton loves. So maybe dog bowls, we haven't gotten there yet, but I just want to throw that out there. Like, Audric Estime is for real. And if you want to have some fun, you can have some fun with Estime. You have my approval.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. I mean, positive game script, the Falcons, it was fresh on my mind because I wrote him up in my Fantasy Life DFS piece. That one I've been focusing on DraftKings, but I wrote up like the Galaxy Brain Bo Nix and Audric Estime pairing, basically the dollar store version of the Hertz Barkley type stuff. But where it's like I think he's 4,500 on DraftKings, just really cheap.
Redacted.
Yeah, sorry, John. You say Sims all the time after saying it's redacted. No one keeps those rules anymore. But yeah, I think there are some interesting angles there too, especially if Bo Nix gets extra steamy too, where it's like, well, what if Estime falls into 2 touchdowns and a positive game script there? You could see things swing nicely. All right, let's hop in the Deposit Kingdom tournament. It goes live every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. It looks like a few of you have already completed a draft. It is a 3-max contest. We got 656 entries this week, $10. We got the 2K. Top prize. Kev Slice won last week, had just a monster day. think one DeBomb, one Deposit Kingdom, and had a top 10 in BR.
Wow.
Was just a filthy, filthy day from Kev Slice.
Well done.
That's so cool.
All right. We got the 1-5 here, fellas.
So what's your angle for small field? I mean, you're gonna stick to the tried and true, heavy correlation? Because we got some fun ways to do that this week. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think there's some really good like correlation stuff you can lean into from this slot, right? Like if you build like around Kyren, I think you could go double Rams, grab a wide receiver. I've been in my head starting to toss around for small field. I think it's viable to do double Lions running backs.
Yeah.
Ooh, fun.
Definitely. I think if I was to gal brand the small field stuff, Purdy triples.
Ooh. Yeah. That's what I was doing last week.
Seattle right now is, I'm doing an arbitrary cutoff here, but since week 4, Seattle's been the worst team against the air by EPA. I don't know if you guys have heard, Brock Purdy is him. So
yeah, you know what? And this is just like my bro. I probably wouldn't do it in like a 1600, but like the bomb style, like 500. Like I would be totally probably open to that.
Little fullback dive.
What is the fullback dive size this week?
Is it 500 or is it 1200? I always get that one confused.
Wow. So Jefferson, Henry. Okay, Kamara jumped. I was trying to figure out who pushed Jefferson down here. Lamar, Amon-Ra. I wouldn't take a Lamar just because he's been dropping a good bit. What do you guys want to do here?
I would probably say Jefferson.
Yeah, I like it. I'm fine with Jefferson. Like, I think we're misremembering what his ceiling is because we haven't seen him score touchdowns in a while.
Yeah.
I mean,
and all of a sudden, people. He just seems matchup proof to me too.
Nez, you want your guy, Kyren? Grab Kelsey here. Grab Rams. What are you thumbs downing, John?
I like Kyren over Bijan this week, but I'll hear you guys out.
You guys want to fight it out?
I would say Bijan. Pete, you can break the tie.
Only because I kind of like the idea of some correlation angles with the Rams, depending on what comes back with Kupp or Nakua. But we'll I do think Bijan has just a higher ceiling. I think straight up. I think it's Kyren's floor is just pretty nuts. I feel like you have those teams where like if you're in these small field and you like nail your last 3 picks, like if you told me I was for sure going to nail my last 3 picks, I'm like, give me Kyren, just like give me his 15 points here and give me a chance to just win this tournament. But in like the big BR, it's like, I think Bijan, just the way he's playing right now,
right.
And what he can do from an explosive standpoint is hard to match.
Yeah, I think we've seen a change in the usage, right? Like I think they're leaning on him very heavily lately. It'll be interesting because like they're dogs, but only 2-point dogs. So there's really no telling in how this game script is going to go. But I think really no matter how it goes, it's favorable for Bijan. I think they just if they are trailing, I think he gets used in the passing game a lot. If they're up, he's gonna continue to do his thing there. So I'm enjoying the my exposures right now, but that's the only thing keeping me afloat right now in best ball.
So we can do the Kupp thing. We can do like a Debo Brock thing. We can grab Brees. Like this is where this pocket of the draft is just so strong. I like every name I see. Let's
do Kupp because you wanted to maybe correlate a little bit, right?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's play kind of a Rams.
He projects like really similar to Puka.
So Crash Rich goes Debo and Brock Purdy. Do you guys want to grab Brock Bowers or do a scroll at tight end on this team?
I think I'd rather take Brees, but I'm good with it if you guys think the running back scroll is stronger than the tight end scroll, which I think is true. So up to you guys. But
I like Brees.
This could be a good Hunter Henry spot. Like if we're loading up on 2 Rams, like the Pats are going to need to score a little bit for Kyren and Kupp to combine for 40, And then we can figure out what we want to do at quarterback, probably a naked quarterback.
Yeah, this is where we kind of go back to the original conversation that kicked us all the way off here is we love the flex play so much this week, and it feels so warm and fuzzy and comfy here that it's like, how do we make this different and how do we make this cromulent with like poor quarterback choices in quotations, right? So it's like, do you do the Stafford angle here? Do you do the Rodgers angle here? Or do you go to that Anthony Richardson, Bo Nix kind of thing?
Right.
I don't think I would do a Rich in small field.
No.
It's so all or nothing. And like, it's just like, to me, it just doesn't seem like what you have to do in a 3 max, but in the BR, like, yeah.
Do you know what you could do? Like, and again, I will probably have like very little of this in the big BR. Like, I'm probably not doing like Winston to Njoku skinnies just because I'm going to mostly pass on Njoku in BR, but I wouldn't in this spot hate like Winston to Njoku, where you don't have to get as weird. And then we still get some correlation with our quarterback. Whereas I kind of like the naked Winston stuff more for the large.
I completely agree. I think that's our best course of attack here. What do you guys think about double with Sam Darnold and TJ Hawkinson?
That's also in play. Same thought.
Yeah. I think I like the Jameis Winston stuff more, but I mean, it's right there, right? And you know, the only thing that's like, I'm getting hit with the recency bias with Sam Darnold kind of looking. Seems like he's kind of going pumpkin mode right now. And maybe we got over our skis with, you know, calling him back.
Just pretend those 3 interceptions were 3 touchdowns to Justin Jefferson. Imagine that. All in the red zone.
Yeah. And I do like one, and again, there's instances where this can work out, but in general, with my first pick, I try not to like force the correlation with it too, where it's just like, the whole point of these first rounders is that they just like consolidate everything. And I think everyone agrees at this point that Jefferson could have a big game and Darnold could still be pretty middling. So I like the idea of like leaning into the correlation with my last picks more than my early, just being like Jefferson can get there in any game environment. Whereas like if Winston or Njoku are smashing, they're probably bringing the other along with them.
It's awesome that Crash Rich did exactly what I was going to suggest on the turn there when we took Cup. I was like, take Devo Purdy. Like in my mind, that's what I was going with. And then he does the Jennings thing.
I know, almost like we were just talking up some Jawan Jennings and Dawson Knox a few minutes ago. There,
he's such a troll, dude. He's such a troll.
I love Crash Rich so much, and I've never met him or spoke to him, and I just know I love this guy.
He's a troll.
Oh man. All right, good stuff. Let's see here. You guys want to hop in a dog bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Hey, should I leave?
No, you're good. You're good.
Did you guys get in?
I did not.
Oh no.
Okay.
Man, this guy can even withdraw on time.
I got 5.
You guys want to draft with me?
Pete, you're gonna miss this one if you're gonna. No, you're good. You're good. Or there's 3 more
spots.
All right.
Did I get in?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Good.
I forgot to do the private chat before.
No, it's all good. We'll toggle back and forth between these two. You guys can help me out in the.
Okay.
It's more exciting, anyways.
So I have a 1-2 in this one, and then with you guys, John is 1-3, Nez is 1-9, and I'm 1-10 here. So we'll toggle back and forth there.
Yeah, it's a loaded lobby in that second one. Good lord.
I was just looking back there when you guys were talking about the DeBomb, Purdy doubles and triples. I was all vibes. I set an alarm last week to make sure I got my DeBombs in. And I was just peak vibes, like just hot tub, coffee, and the phone. And I built 4 Purdy doubles or triples in that contest. Not one of them cashed.
That's wild.
Is the right spot to do it?
I thought so.
I'm cool with HN there, yeah.
Are you? Yeah, I was gonna say, what are you guys doing? Because there are, I think ETR has Kamara.
They did
over him.
Earlier in the
what
week.
have you guys been doing? Have you been mixing it up or just playing the ADP at the top?
I like HN.
I do like HN. I'm mixing it up a lot. Like I just like I'm cycling through my number 2 picks. Just getting flat because I deem it to be flat. So I don't want to like get exposed out of like laziness. Like I want to be diversified there. It's a conscious decision that I'm trying to make. And
yeah.
I see so many different players go in so many different orders that it's kind of crazy. There's ADPs, but people are really doing whatever.
It kind of feels like a hoop slate like that, eh? Mm-hmm. Where it's like people are just anticipating the Q tags and they're just pushing guys all over the place.
Yeah,
I will say, speaking of Q tags, I mean, like this slate is pretty clean from a Q tag perspective. I mean, the Adams thing was looking maybe a little dicey yesterday. That's cleaned up. Metcalf good to go. Aaron Jones good to go. I mean, what are we waiting on?
Just the Kittle one, and he was limited yesterday, so
he's gonna play, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, he's George plays. Kittle, man. He just always plays. Yeah.
Right,
the other one would be Sam Laporta, who didn't practice today, but I don't think it like brings like Brock Wright or anything into play. I think it just triples and down that they just established the F out of it.
Yeah,
like I think that game plan from the Lions, like obviously you beat the Jags through the air. They're one of the worst in terms of EPA versus the air and stuff like that. But they did have 3 picks last week, all in the red zone, like bend don't break kind of stuff there. And we're coming off a game where Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions. So like purely anecdotal, do they just shift back to what has got them there, what makes the most sense, and they're 14-point favorites at home, like just establish the hell out of it?
I think they're just going to beat the shit out of the Jags. Like they want to, that's just like their MO. I mean, they squeaked out a win against the Texans, but like they just want to go out there and just like, they want to be a team people don't want to face. Like they want, come on, Pete. I was going to do Debo.
I was literally just going to ask you. I was going to say, Nez, are we slamming Debo Samuel again? And apparently the answer is yes.
It's the annual Debo versus Seahawks slate. I mean, we had one earlier, but
was Debo your most drafted wide receiver last week?
He was close. If he wasn't, I'll have to double check.
You guys want to know how much I played?
I just got to take it, right? I mean, this is crazy. You're not going to see too much Lamar Gibbs in the Dog Bowl, I don't think.
There you go.
I played 65 teams last week across all the contests. I had 61.9% Debo Samuel.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude.
If I was playing limited entries, I was fucking finding a spot, boys.
And let me tell you the rule about being in the Debo club.
Yeah.
It is a club where we martingale. You do not get off the Debo Samuel ride. You slam it until it hits. If you missed out last week, congratulations. You didn't sink that money. But the rest of us are on that train until it fucking hits.
I did the Drake London thing again last week. I didn't do so many entries because I was in I was at that Steelers game, and so I didn't get my usual volume, but did the Drake London thing again. So not a great week, but I had a lot of shots on goal.
Are you doing London this week?
I've been doing Sutton more than London, to be honest.
You're a DVP respector, so I assumed the Surtain would be a little spooky for you.
It was for sure. And like, and I like the Bijan angle of that game more. Mooney is like free at the end of drafts, and we're getting all these puff pieces about Mooney being like so cerebral and Cousins thinking that he's an offensive coordinator when it's actually Mooney talking to him. Like there's so much buzz around Mooney, and the projections are really similar, Mooney to London, that like, I love my Falcons, but Mooney is just like the bargain bin version of London right now.
I hadn't heard that stuff. I hadn't heard the anecdotal stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah, I got to pull up the tweet. It was it's kind of cool.
Maybe Mooney was the guy coaching up Fields, man. Maybe they needed just Mooney. That's what they needed.
That's DJ Moore, man. DJ Moore will tell you he misses Fields.
Nez was because in previous weeks we've always talked about like the back end of the board, like you feel really gross with those turn picks. I mean, these turn picks feel real nice right about now. I started Achane, Garrett Wilson, DK Metcalf here. Like that wasn't happening in previous weeks.
No, it was not. This is an awesome week, man. Like I think I described it to John. Like every time I'm on the clock, I like what I see. pretty much. So it's this is a fun week for dog bowls. I'm putting together some awesome teams, doing a lot of 1-2-2-1 because you can just get so many projectable points that way. It feels like the sharpest way to play this week, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, it's up and down the board, man. It's just littered with great picks.
I got to double down on that 1-2-2-1 thing. Nice stat in the Discord there this morning from Copper Prices. Flex wide receiver has won 9 dog bowl seats, and flex running back has won 21 thus far. So,
jeez,
yeah,
can't wait to do 3 wide receiver teams on these 2 teams here. I enjoy.
Buck the trend, maybe contrarian takes. I would like to report that in this first draft, I have what we deem the GM perfect start, the optimal start. Never dupe me here in the Dog Bowl. Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf, David Montgomery. That is 85 fantasy points through 3 rounds.
Is that so?
It is. It is the model, dude. It's calculating as we go.
Did someone already take Jawan Jennings?
Yeah, Jawan Jennings goes really early.
I guess I can't even do the Purdy stack anyways, but I did want to tilt that for a second.
Yeah, Purdy went 1-2 to Rydock took Purdy Jennings at the 1-2 turn.
Yeah. I like this spot for Jacobs.
You did that exact same start on our stream yesterday, Nez, the CMC Purdy Juwan Jennings from the 1 hole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took Tillman there. I was trying to find a wide receiver I liked. It was getting thin because Crash Rich took Devontae from me. So I was gonna do Mark Andrews to pair with Lamar, but I figured you wouldn't take him here. So
here's the thing. I saw some really interesting data about 2 running back teams being really dominant in the Dog Bowl.
Tell me more.
I just have to decide which one I want to do here. I like using the Dog Bowls to get the guys that I scroll past a bunch in the regular BR. So I'm going to grab a Kareem Hunt share here. I don't think I'm going to have a ton of him in.
Congrats on the 12 points in the 4th round.
Oh yeah.
Talk them up, baby.
No, you got to enjoy the Kareem Hunt while we got him. Still no Pacheco this week. And then it's all coming to an end. Do you think, I kind of have this sneaky suspicion that game's going to pop off like old school Bills Chiefs playoff game?
I think so too, Pete. I think that's why Crash Rich is so drawn to it too. Crash Rich and every lobby dude is doing KC Buffalo stacks. And I agree with it. I think it's going to have that kind of tempo to it. I think it's up to the Bills. If the Bills can do their part, put up some points. We haven't seen the Chiefs have to go into super aggressive offense mode this season. Really, they keep, just death by 1,000 cuts to teams playing really slow football, up the pace, and we could have a really, really fun matchup on our hand. It's in Buffalo. The Bills want to win this game so bad. I mean, everybody wants to win every game. This clearly has a little bit of extra juice to the motivation factor, right? Just after their history of their playoff games together all the time. This is going to be such a sick game.
Yeah.
Everyone's drafting. Okay, everyone's talking about, I think it was in the Pace Up article there as well, that everyone's drafting the Steelers-Ravens game to be what we think. You know what I'm trying to say? Actually, what we think Steelers-Ravens is in terms of ADP right now is actually what KC Buffalo is going to be.
Yeah, I guess I haven't compared side by side the ADPs of those 2 games. Are you saying just Steelers Ravens is more expensive?
Oh yeah, considerably more, because you get Lamar in the 1st round, you get Henry in the 1st round, you get that angle of things, and then the pick and stuff is priced up in the middle tier there, whereas basically it's just Kelsey from the other game and then Allen after that go, especially in the 6 persons. But anecdotally in my mind, I'm still buying into that AFC slug it out fest over here with Ravens and Steelers. And then on the other side, I'm buying into exactly what you guys are selling with, hey, look at what they've done in these divisional series matchups versus one another.
I think you're onto something, right? I mean, I'm just leaning into the fact that the total is high and the Ravens look unstoppable on offense that like, I'm going against my gut take, which is that like this game's a slog. It's AFC North classic, just gridiron football. When, the Vegas thinks this game's going to shoot out, like relative to the slate. We know Ravens are a pass funnel. I just think it's going to, do what the projections say. End of the day. I found that Mooney quote, by the way. Cool anecdote from Kirk Cousins about Darnell Mooney. If you want to pull it up, you can.
Yeah, let me.
From a Falcons reporter there, Tori. I always struggle with her last name, McElhaney. Cool anecdote from Kirk Cousins. Darnell Mooney calling out pressures to the offensive unit. So when Mooney started doing that, Kirk turned to Jake Matthews and asked if he'd ever seen a wide receiver do that. He said, "That's a first. I feel like I'm talking to an OC sometimes."
That's cool.
I mean, come on, man.
All right, Nez, you're on the clock here.
Yeah, this is tough. I've been doing a lot of Amari Cooper here, in the same vein that we've been talking about this game. I think also interesting would be like Rashad Bateman if this game's going to shoot out. I don't think you're going to see a lot of Bateman and Lamar this week, so I'm gonna just cue that up. I'm just going to take it. I know I should be taking a tight end here, but there's plenty of tight ends.
There are always tight end in the sea. I'm going to get a Hunter Henry here.
Yeah, that's what I was like thinking about getting to. But I have so much Hunter Henry right now in the dog bowls.
Yeah.
I think like half my teams have Hunter Henry and or Ramondre on them.
Yeah. Let's see. Looking like Cormer here probably going to set up an Anthony Richardson potentially, or a Russ Wilson with Pickens.
Yeah. Who do you guys prefer out of those two?
Of who?
Which do you prefer out of those two?
On this team, I think on this team I would do Russ, just because having Taylor and Downs, I think you want a decent amount of rushing touchdowns coming there.
Could also do Love too.
Yeah.
I would do Russ. And I don't know if I'm square, but like on stat chasing, Sack was pointing out how like he tries to avoid some skinny stacks that are, common pairings, right? If player A is like always paired with player B, he's avoiding that. I don't know if it's the stack, then it's the stack, so I was kind of like struggling with, I get the sentiment for sure. And I think, Russ and Pickens is going to be probably one of the highest paired skinny stacks on the slate this week. So I've been just kind of like trying to make heads and tails of that.
All right, Nez, your final pick here.
Yeah, we're gonna go spicy Margs, man.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, I think if it's gonna be a trailing script, we get some Kyle Pitts pass attempts there. This is a weird team by me. I will say, definitely not like the most aesthetically pleasing team when you look at the lineup, but I like what we have here.
So I wrapped up. With my Puka first pick, then built out May to Hunter Henry at the end, along with Jacobs, Kareem Hunt, and Debo. Nez, what did you do here?
Yeah, I went Lamar to Rashad Bateman. I think that'll be a pretty rare skinny in the dog bowl based on what I've seen in my drafts. At running back, Jahmyr Gibbs, James Cook, one-off Cedric Tillman, and then spicy Kyle Pitts Margs for tight end.
And John, what did you just wrap up with here?
I just got sniped on Geno. Maybe I should have done it in the opposite order. But Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf, David Montgomery, Taysom Hill, and then I really wanted one of Nick Chubb or Ramondre to come back to me. They did not. And then I opted for Tony Pollard over Najee because nobody can run on the Ravens. And then I took Sam Darnold. Could have taken Anthony Richardson as one off there, but I did the Darnold Jefferson thing.
Nice. Yeah, that is it. It's tough sometimes on the ends there. It looks like another week of just absolute quarterback chicken. What did we have?
Yeah.
One quarterback go in rounds 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 quarterbacks in 3 through 5.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? Yeah. I think it's crazy that like Jared Goff is QB5 in ADP. Like, I wonder how real that is, man. Is he really going like more often than not in 6-person drafts? That feels like worst click on the board by a mile, if that's true.
I agree with you, man. I fully agree with you.
Yeah, I was doing a stream. Shout out PPR Tyler, hopped on his show yesterday, did some drafts, and I was like, let's do like a scroll down Jared Goff. Like, I think that'll be pretty low owned. I'm like, what the fuck? This dude's QB5? Like, no, actually, let's never do that.
I'll show you guys what I wrapped in my other one here. Started with Achan and then Garrett Wilson. DK Metcalf came back and took James Cook in the 4th, grabbed Taysom Hill in the 5th, and then stacked it up with Geno to DK Metcalf there.
James Cook's a very interesting pick this week because if you think that game's going to pop off, like he's clearly undervalued and he's game script proofed, but then also nobody's ran for more than 56 yards against the Chiefs this year. So it's like, what narrative were we buying into? Like he could be smash or trash in the middle round. Wow, I just made that up. Smash or trash.
Smash or trash.
Yeah, smash or trash. John's picks, 5 picks coming at you.
John Warner with the badge, bros. Smash or pass today with Nez. And the
we need a 6 smash or trash drop with some heavy wrist.
Incredible.
In real time.
All right. Dog Bowl's in the books. It's time. I feel like we need like a sizzle transition where you know what? I'm literally gonna write that on my note. I'm gonna ask my guy Zach Lanners to make me like a 10-second sizzle that says like, you know, I want like the margs, I want the slop it up, I want some some sirens in there. But it is time for the pick'ems here. It's gonna be an uneventful transition today, but I will work on that going forward. Let's start with our core here, some of our favorite plays. I think, Nez, you might have hinted at one of your cores earlier. I want to say you teased Geno. I don't want to lock you into that, but is that your guy?
Yeah, it is. I'm a big fan of doing like trying to nail pace and usage in my pick'ems. So for me, it's a Geno Smith pass attempts. I'm not sure what it's currently at. I saw it at 34.04. 35.
I got it now.
We get
5.5.
Yeah, we get a little bit of a boost on there. So I think that's honestly fine. You see the last few games hasn't really been there for Geno, but I mean this total here is very, very awesome. 50.5. I think they can keep up. You know, they're gonna have to. Getting a little boost on this is nice. Yeah, man, I just think this just shapes up for a big time Geno pass attempt game, which I feel like we say every week. But yeah, love the pass attempts here for Geno.
Like it,
John.
Don't call it an L word. This is the L word of the week here, as in Lions. We are going David Montgomery, 56.5 rushing yards higher. It is now 57.5.
Yes. I got you.
We like it all the way up to 57.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Playable all the way up to 57.5. And by that, I mean, it's the only thing that's available right now. I like that a good bit, John. Man, even just seeing this, it's like, were you toying with rush attempts too?
Yeah, I kind of I like it all. I mean, 14-point favorites. It feels like the game script in which we all envisioned and wanted versus the Packers in a slop it up game that we didn't end up getting. This feels like the David Montgomery, like 102 style spot. Yeah, I don't see how they agree just ground and pound.
I'm glad we got to Montgomery too, because he kind of falls in that ambiguous range. He wasn't part of those like top 20 picks we were talking about, and he's not like a scroll, but of those like, you know, typical like more fragile ADP range, I think he's the best pick on the board this week. Yep. He's a guy too, like, so I always think, okay, if I'm taking a guy in this more fragile range, like what are ways I can make it unique? And it is like pulling him up, like to be your 3rd round pick, or, you know, trying to get him on different types of teams than just people who are going to take him in the 6th round as theirs. Like take David Montgomery in the 5th and then get your extra scroll in the 6th, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
I'm going to stick with kind of you know, Dez has kind of the pass attempts, you know, playing from behind. John has the front running. I'm going to do another playing from behind spot. And I feel like this has been one of my best pick'em angles, is just attacking these like tight ends that have good volume projections. Yeah. I really like the stuff for Evan Ingram getting a 1.05 on 6 receptions. He was over this last week in a game where they were a disaster and the Vikings are actually a tough matchup. The Detroit here, and I actually like that we get the little in-game correlation here. Detroit's actually been very vulnerable over the middle, partly because teams just rack up pass attempts in negative game scripts against them. And I just think like Evan Ingram is this entire offense, and this 5.5 here like seems very light to me. So I like playing the higher here.
This is the most confident I felt about a core in a minute. Like these ones all felt good.
Yeah. This is
all right. How confident, John?
I
guess I'm up in my unit size here. If John's feeling confident,
2 unit.
There we go.
2 units.
It's a 2-unit play.
Let's go.
I got to tell you the story. Every time I hear something like that. So I think I've mentioned this one time on a stream, so apologies if you heard this before. But one time, Lauren and I went to a Celtics game. This had to have been like 10 plus years ago. And we're exiting the Garden and we're waiting for the Metro to come to take us back. And it's just packed in there because it flooded the game. And no one knows where the Metros are. Like it's delayed based on there. And so everyone's kind of like getting antsy or whatever. And this guy's like kind of like he's a drunk dude, just at the game and stuff. He's probably wearing a fucking Brian Scalabrine jersey. And he's like looking, trying to like peer around the corner to see if a train's coming. And he turns around and he goes, 2 deuces, because it was the D train we were looking for. And he just starts shouting, I got 2 deuces coming here. So the second John said 2 units, I was just transported back to that. So Lauren and I, anytime we have something where it's like, can I get 2 of something? We just shout at each other, 2 deuces. We got 2 deuces coming. All right.
Love
Anyways,
Austin.
Okay, so we got our core locked in. Let me make sure I drop this in the chat, and I'll drop it in the private chat for you guys. We'll also post this in the Discord. I've been rounding these up in my PO Box newsletter on Saturdays as well. What do you guys want to do? You want to head to a game here?
Yeah, I think so.
Slop it up.
All right, John, you take us to a slop it up game. I say we do 2 games here.
Slop it up. Browns and Saints.
Nice.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. I have one in this game that I like, but I want to get your start.
Alvin Kamara receiving yards.
Okay.
40.
I feel like that along with the tight ends is like it's just always such a sweet spot.
Yeah.
55, 60, and 54.
He's the safety valve. He's their best receiver. He's the entirety of the offense.
Yeah.
Enough said, really.
Enough said. Nez, you got one in this game?
Yeah, let's I like my guy Jameis Winston, man. I think if I was to play this, I'd probably just go like straight passing yards. I don't know that I would do any sort of volume on Jameis, so I would probably just like tack on the higher 240 passing yards to this one. What do you guys think?
I like it. Tell me if you guys don't like this potential negative correlation, because my favorite one in this game is Nick Chubb over 14.5 rushing attempts.
Yeah, I want to take him in dog bowls more.
He cleared this in back-to-back weeks in 2 of the toughest matchups in football for running against the Ravens, against the Chargers, and now he gets this Saints defense. I personally don't mind the rush attempts and Winston over 240 because I think this is a good matchup. But do you guys have problems with that?
Nick Chubb has the highest usage per snaps played of any player in the NFL right now.
Wow. That's a stat.
Yeah.
No, I had no problem with it. I wish, we were getting it's not that much of a doc. I'm just like saying like, man, because they do sort of negatively correlate rushing attempts and passing yards, but it's fine. We always get a little bit of a less of a multiplier on these. I have no problem with it. No, because I think the Jameis thing can like, he can go, it's more of an efficiency thing or, a deep ball thing. But yeah, it's kind of weird.
If anything, Chubb has gotten like scripted out of more carries in previous games. And so I think the thought is like they're having success through the air and then Chubb gets even more carries.
Yeah.
Feel like we should probably entertain some other pass catcher with Winston of some sort.
Oh, Noomy.
What's what doing?
Yeah,
they're checking the math on the Chubb play. Yeah. So as far as like pass catcher goes here, Tillman, a very popular one. Shorty Vegas pick mentioning Jerry Jeudy with the indoor splits. That's a hell of a call out.
I don't know if we should use it in this one or a variation of this one, but the other one that I really liked was Njoku touchdown 1.75.
That's strong.
He's always a strong and you know what? I like that because we're going to get pretty big docks on any of the other wide receivers we do. We already talked about how it's spread out. The 1.75 is such a strong multiplier for a tight end with his TD expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Like you compare him even to other ones around him. Like, okay, Bowers is 1.69. I actually like that. Like what's Hawkinson, who's going right after him in drafts 1.96. Okay, so maybe it is fairly priced. I always just feel like these tight ends have good multipliers relative to their red zone role.
Right.
Agreed.
Come on, what's going on with this Chubb thing? I swear, if they move this up to 15.5 on us,
it was too good. Yeah, this is by like fractions of a value, but Jerry Jeudy led the Browns in utilization score last week.
Yeah,
by 0.1.
They did move it to 15.5. Knew me, bastards.
Knew me.
Are you kidding me? Are you seriously? Did you? That pisses me off so much.
That's why we gotta like load these. We need to like syndicate this shit now. Like we can't just like talk this through as friends for content. Now we have to like, here's the play and let's talk it through. Get ready, guys. Get ready. Get your telegrams on.
Yeah.
Here comes the play. Gotta do what we gotta do, man.
I will say, so I don't mind the Jeudy thing, but with the Njoku touchdown, this is close to a 20x as is with just if we want to roll with the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good core 4.
Yeah. God,
paints...
I have that Chubb one in my Deposit Kingdom pick'em too. Spoiler, and these bastards just moved it on everybody.
Oh, I can't get it at that.
No, this is a fit. No, this is a 75 burger. If they're Underdog, if you're gonna move this line on you, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna make you pay.
Oh,
we're going up to 2 deuces.
Deuces.
Let's go. Right out of Numi's pocket.
Yeah, good. You'll feel this. You will rue the day you move that number up.
Let's go. I need to. What did they refresh?
Whoa, Laporta ruled out.
Oh, okay. So that's Brock Wright's music?
Brock Wright. I also think like JMO gets a little boost there.
I think
probably.
so too.
Yeah,
let's
we talked
to pay.
Yeah, let's get him.
Let's get him.
These are getting. This won't even be allowed in the idea box.
No, they're gonna nuke it.
Just put it with anything we like. Like just
what
put
do
it
you want? What do you like? JMO yards?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Should we go back to our? Let me do it with the. Should we just put it in with the core?
Yeah.
Or which one should we swap out of the core? We can swap my Ingram out.
Okay.
Racing the clock.
No, they're coming for me.
I know my page is refreshing quite a bit too.
Let's get them. I love this is how we get them with Jamison Williams, probably the most.
Dude, they're throwing us a bone here. They're like, let's leave these lines. Let's leave these pick'ems up for just a smidgen for these.
There
guys.
it is.
Send all links.
There you go.
Thank you.
I got it twice. I did it once with Gino and once with Ingram.
Yeah.
There we go.
So it's saying ladder up those JMO yards. Yeah, there you go.
That's fun.
You could do a pick'em. You know what? I read that initially as JWO for Jamison Williams. You could do a JMO ladder pick'em. It's kind of fun.
There you go.
That's fun.
All right. What's the second game we're gonna do here?
I love this quote in the chat here. Corey said, "Can we figure out a way to get McBride on here with the cards on a bye? Like, can we just get next week's line so we can carry over our core and then."
Just give me your money, and it's like you just placed a pick 'em on Trey McBride instead. There you go.
Oh man.
The Jamison Williams one we didn't really talk through though. Like 31 implied team total and 14-point favorites as a dog bowl click in the last round who's free. I mean, if you want to do like the Jared Goff ADP is obviously fake, but if he's going to be paired with Amon-Ra at 100% frequency, just pair him with like Gibbs and JMO or something like that.
I like that. Yeah. This is a good suggestion. I feel like we all kind of like some spots in New England and Los Angeles.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I like that.
So I got to do this on mobile here for my team play. I couldn't get that through on desktop for some reason. Okay, now I'm in.
Scrolling. Man, Cooper Kupp, 6.5 receptions, and you get a little bit of juice.
Yeah, what it compared that to, but holy cow, yeah. Well, so what is so you get juice on it on Puka too.
Yeah, but the wrong way.
Oh, you're right.
We get a boost on the Kupp and we get a juice on the Puka. Oh, you could switch it. Oh, you can slide
That's what
it.
I mean.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I just slid it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's 105. It's one. Don't I kind of like, I mean, I like both these guys, but at same price with a bigger boost on Puka, I think I prefer Puka.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Nez, I feel like you're the Ramondre whisperer. I kind of would do scrimmage yards.
Let's take a look at what the let's do what were you gonna say, John?
His receiving stuff looks better now that they've iced Antonio Gibson.
So like
JaMychal Hasty, can't hold his jockstrap. You know, that's a deep dive there, Pete.
Yeah.
I like the scrimmage yards, man. I was going to suggest rush attempts, but I'd prefer an even multiplier on our Ramondre play. And that feels pretty similar.
Because you can see his like stuff has like been binary, right? Like against Tennessee, rush attempts were down, but then he had 5 receptions for 38. Then like 74 and 3. So like it's kind of nice having the double outs.
Yeah, no, I like the I like the scrimmage yards. I'll also entertain a touchdown for Ramondre, but let's just do scrimmage yards. It's safer.
Like it.
Do we want to go back to the Hunter Henry stuff?
Yeah. What's your preference on that? I think it's 3.5 receptions for Hunter Henry.
Yeah. So last week I played it through yards, just because he had such a nice air yards roll. He was like, I think it was like 4th or 5th among all tight ends in air yards. So, but in these previous to the Chicago game where like the entire offense imploded, he got there on both of these receptions or receiving yards. It's kind of just what our preferred is.
Maybe receiving yards, that kind of, I think you get the same multiplier. It doesn't affect what we already have. And because if we do receptions, maybe that's like saying it's negative game script. That probably makes it harder for Ramondre to get home. I feel like the narrative works better if it's yards and it's just like it's an efficient game, and as opposed to like the game script thing. That's so gal brain, but
no, it's the Rams are a good matchup for tight end. I was pretty into Jonnu stuff in the pick'ems on was that Monday night, because I was looking at how the Rams had been against tight ends, and it was one of their weaknesses. They actually play the receivers a little tougher and are a little more leaky to tight end. So I like that.
Cool.
So this gets us at a 7.32.
Can I just throw some random ones out and see if you guys have the same wavelength as me?
Yeah.
Dennis Allen, 2.5 receptions.
Your boy.
Yeah. Drake May rushing touchdown or receiving, I guess, but rushing touchdown at the 2x, little boost there. And Drake May combined rushing plus passing yards.
I would say maybe we do the Allen and the scrimmage yards for a 5-leg, or do the rushing touchdown for a 4-leg.
Good with either, whatever you guys prefer. I guess rushing touchdown is always going to be thinner and probably not worth the 2.5, and probably negatively correlates with the Ramondre. So maybe 5 feels better.
I have an idea.
Let's
do both. I'm going to do both.
You want Allen? Oops.
Yeah.
Not Allen Robinson.
Oh, we want Allen Robinson lowers, baby. Haterade it up.
So one thing I've been doing is when I do pick 5s now, I mean, I know I said, I think last show, I do both. Like I'll do a regular and a flex. I've been almost exclusively flex playing my pick 5s, and it's bailed me out quite a few times already. So with this pick 5, I was gonna I'm gonna do that, at least on my end. I just want to throw that out there that the math likes it. Ooh, okay. What are we doing here? This is the Drake May one.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this twice.
Okay.
I'll run this once with the May Tutty.
Yep.
And then I'll drop.
And then those with the Allen receptions. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And for the audio listeners, just be mindful because we can't screenshot it right now, but we're boosting the Puka to 6.5.
Yes, good call. Yeah, that gets it on the same as the cup, but you get a 1.22x multiplier there. And then what was it? We like the 236.5 pass rush yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. All right, so 2 versions of this. One just splitting the Drake May, either the touchdown or the scrimmage yards there.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. I think this game can be a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Let's do what we got time for a couple of sliders / tutty bombs, and we can find some stuff we like here.
Yeah, let's do it.
The Njoku touchdown felt good. I don't know if we want to double down and use it again. But if we're going to run multiples, I would suggest using it again.
I'm looking up something here.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. Sorry. I was still copying and pasting these links for people.
David Montgomery getting even on the touchdown. I mean, he scores a touchdown every damn week, does he not?
Yeah, I want to look. Let's look at a few here. Montgomery's gone.
Yeah, I think they ripped all the Lions stuff after the Laporta
What
news.
if they have Brees at? Are we getting a little positive? Man, still at 0.92. This is how you know he's a good pick. It's like he's at 21 and he's at 0.92.
What about Devontae Adams?
Yeah, let's see. Or maybe compare the Wilson and Adams and seeing if there's any spread on those.
Okay. Wilson's 119. Adams 125.
That's going in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Nej, should we check out Debo?
Yeah, check Debo. And I have a slide too, if depending on what you like on Debo, but it's not. This is a different slide. Oh, we just have touchdowns for Debo right now? That's a Kittle thing, huh?
I'm just going to put these in the idea box. We're not locked into these. The other one I wanted to check on is Zay at 1.35.
The Baltimore one that's really interesting is Steelers have been very good against opposing WR1s. I don't really know who you deem the WR1 on Baltimore in terms of like standard X role usage, but the wide receiver 2 has cooked against the Steelers. And I think that's probably a JPJ splits thing, but I don't think they use Zay in the traditional X sense. So maybe it doesn't directly apply to Zay. Anyways, I was just thinking about that earlier, and it was just something I had to regurgitate for the people.
That's a good stat. Okay, I'm following along here. There's Zay up there. Okay.
Can I just point something out? I want to swear that I saw in the Discord this child saying like he doesn't have the attention span for like more than 45-minute shows, and now I've seen him in like every live stream I do. Did you have a lobotomy, Awin, and now you have the capacity to watch a stream?
Yeah, saw that you're winning. He's trying to steal some alpha, dude.
Yeah,
he had a bit of a downswing, and he's like, "Oh shit, boys, I gotta watch all hour and a half now."
That's hilarious.
I can't wait.
If this is a touchdown one, I mean, I kind of like this, like the 3 that we have. What's the because
and I'm not married to any of these. Like if the Zay one seems a little light, I don't mind. I do like the Njoku. I just wanted to check that one.
Okay.
Jawan Jennings 1.53.
Wow. Jeez, man.
The other thing on a guy like Jawan, and this was actually one of the only pick'ems I hit last week. It was a ladder on his receptions. And I don't know if we'll get like the same deal that we did last week, and we can go through my pick'em graveyard. I just want to see what it was last week. It is. I have been on just an absolute pick 'em cooler. I mean, it is just. This is. I'm literally just trying to find
you're
one
the one
that's
that took
green,
us through
dude.
this exercise. Pete.
Well, I just wanted to find one here.
I'm sorry. I'm just
No,
laughing right now.
now I can't even find it because there's just too much fucking shit to sift through. Here it is. Okay, this was my big one. So last week I did White higher receptions, but Brock points, but then slid Jawan up to 6.5 receptions. This was a massive multiplier. This is a 25 that paid a K.
Wow.
Yeah. So like the Jawan reception stuff will be interesting to see if like they're still kind of catching up to what his role is.
Wow. That's
I love that.
Let's kick if we're doing Debo or Jawan, we should probably kick Debo out.
I think so.
And then I'm happy to kick Zay out. Do you like this Devontae Njoku Jawan?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a 20x. That's clean.
Yeah,
Nice.
that is clean.
Beautiful.
I like that. 50 for 1,000. Beautiful.
All right, that's our TD spice.
Yes, we got 2 game environments. We got a TD. We could expand with some sliders or something like that. We could do a haterade. What do you guys want to do?
I mean,
yeah. Did you say you had a slider, Nez?
Yeah, I do. You guys, you guys. I mean, you guys don't have to play this or not, but like Bijan Robinson.
Every time he brings up Bijan, he like acts like we don't like Bijan. Like he's the only Bijan
I want to slide
guy.
up. I want to slide the scrimmage yards all the way up to 124.5.
That
and I don't think that's crazy.
Viable.
It's 2x. It's 2x. And like, dude, this is one of the best roles in football right now. The utilization score is just off the chain. I just want to make money on Bijan so badly.
Should we make a Nez Memorial stream and get a Debo ladder?
Can I tell you that? Do you know what the Debo ladder is going to be? Well, because you don't have a choice. It's 2 touchdowns for Debo.
I mean, let's wait until they give us a choice. Can't let big Underdog.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to take all their money either. So,
me.
The other guy that I think is honestly good to ladder these days would just, and it's been hitting. And I know, Nez, if we're going to do the Memorial thing, it's Pickens. So this is such a good matchup. And the deep ball stuff, they've been running really pure on it. Like they're due for some regression. But if you're going to play Pickens, like I think you want to ladder it with how big and how nice this matchup is. Yeah.
Do you want to do like 100 yards?
I mean, 100 at 1.82 or 89. Both those look good.
Yeah. I love the century mark.
I would also hear you guys out on longest reception.
Yeah, I hear you on that, man. It's like I just don't like those.
Okay.
Just me personally. Like I don't know. I haven't found my edge in those yet, but I think it's a good shout for sure.
I saw the chat talking about Achan. We could see like if he has a Bijan-esque, but like what
longest reception
for who?
Achan. What's that look like?
Even money at 15.5. No sliders.
You can't ladder it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You were going to talk about his scrimmage yards.
Well, I was just wondering, like, if you did a similar thing to Bijan, they have it same thing, 124.5. You can get a 1.5x on him.
That feels pretty good.
This is pretty good. This is just playing some studs right here for a 32 burger.
This is just a lot of fun.
I like that.
Fun with friends.
Whoa, not 225. Easy.
Yay.
Deuces.
Oh, I like this one so much. I'm giving it the single unit here.
Oh.
Just dream a little, would you?
I guess I have 3 different unit sizes, so I don't know. I'm calling it my middle unit.
One middle unit. It's not. It doesn't actually.
No,
mean anything.
It's all in the gut. Whatever feels right at the moment.
Yeah, that was fun. That was
vibes.
All right, let's do one more.
Can you share that one, please, Pete?
Yes, my bad. There it is in the private chat. Here it is. What is I've seen this person spam Malik TD multiple times. Who are you even talking about? Malik Washington?
Is he even in there?
Because he scored the first touchdown on Monday Night Football, now we have to lose money on Malik Washington pick'ems.
4.79x for Malik Washington.
I think he doubled down on the.
Let us know what you make there, Gerardo.
Let's get another slider in. These are fun.
The sliders
get like
man.
A 3-burger slider. I'm trying to look at some other spots that I really like that I think have maybe untapped upside. You guys got anything coming to mind here?
Yeah, I mean this is like an emotional hedge, but like a Derrick Henry rushing yards, I think he's always worth doing a slider on. Like this dude, just no matter what, can just destroy teams. Doing a rushing yard slide on him seems pretty fun, or even doing like a longest rush slide on him where he takes one like half the field.
As a DVP respecter and a Pittsburgh homer, you mean sliding it down, right? Dude, under 50. Hang on, I'm not kidding. Under 59.5 for a 2x multiplier.
You would do that?
Yeah.
All right.
You're talking to a guy who has like 3 shares of Derrick Henry. Of course, I'm going to do this.
You're also the same person that would take 15 teams in the best ball playoffs as opposed to 35 because they have
don't get me started on that. It's just engagement farming of all engagement farming. Davidson tried to go toe to toe with Gritty on best ball engagement farming, and it is a fucking battle. What do you think? Do you think I'm crazy? I mean, he had 68 yards last week, and he's going against one of the best rush defenses in the league.
Like I said, Pete, it was just an emotional hedge. It was just so yeah. Let's do the inverse. Let's be men.
There it is. Okay, you want to do a haterade slider?
Yeah.
I will say this hasn't been like our wheelhouse in general. So we don't have to force it if we don't find, but I actually do really like that slide. If you look at like the ETR ranks too, relative to like ADP this week, I mean, Derrick Henry looks massively overvalued.
Guys, what did we slide the Pickens one to?
A century mark.
Okay. Yeah. The 99.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just playing catch up because Pete, I think you shared the wrong link. So I'm going to rebuild it and then share it again here.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
It might have got an extra backslash attached to it, I think.
It's all good. Maybe we'll screen grab that one too there. I'll share that one in the chat. But the screen grab of it now is HN 124.5 combined, Bijan 124.5 combined, and George Pickens 99.5 receiving. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
What about? So we've been doing these scrimmage yards ones. I wouldn't mind doing a Brees up to 124.5 too. It's basically the same odds as the HN, which doesn't feel good when you consider kind of how they're valued in the market.
Are we haterating right now, or we're just kind of feeling what we're feeling?
Any slides? I don't want to box us into haterade. I want us to.
Okay.
I want the good place to flow through us.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to hate all over Kareem Hunt yet again, and I want to hate all over James Cook yet again.
Wow. My 2 running backs and back-to-back dog bowls. This really hurts.
How do you want to do the Kareem Hunt?
He's fat and bad at football. I don't know. Lower on yardage.
But here's the thing. I'm okay with the haterade, but we got to be able to slide to a good multiplier. That's the theme of this is more so the slide. If you have a slide for us, John, I'm all ears.
Okay. Yeah,
they're not even letting
great.
us slide.
It's not. They know that he's bad at football. He knows. Yeah, because if you slide the Kareem Hunt to 74.5 combined yards, you just end up with like 1.1x. It's like
I got a slide for you. We're on the Geno stuff. Can I interest you in a near 3x on DK Metcalf going for 100 fucking yards?
Sold.
Oh yeah,
sold. This is what I'm talking about.
That's a good find.
This is what I'm talking about, baby.
Let's go. All right, that's 17x.
Did you guys play any Embiid lowers tonight?
No.
I tailed someone in the Discord posted the 8.5 under Rebs. That's how I used my my gimme pick'em promo.
Okay. Yeah, because I just saw that in the lobbies, the gimme pick'em. That's why I was asking. So okay, cool.
Someone in the hoops posted that one, so I tailed that. It seems like, has it gone down? No, it's still at 8, but it was getting a multiplier before, and now it's at 0.92.
Are you guys down to do somebody scoring 2 touchdowns?
Depends who that somebody is.
I mean, I'm thinking somebody on. No, I'm thinking in that Lions game, man. I think either Jahmyr Gibbs or Montgomery scoring twice.
Wow, 3.34 on Gibbs and 2.0. Wow, man, I actually like the Gibbs spread.
Just take the Gibbs number. Yeah. With those numbers, just take the Gibbs number.
He can do that in a number of ways.
Dude, and no Laporta, and Underdog hasn't fixed this.
Let's get it. Let's get it before Newbie gets us.
This is 117. You know what, Underdog? If you're going to only let me do $34, I'm going to make you feel it. I'm going to make you feel that full $34.
I mean, this is I'm about to be freed financially after this.
Goodness. Actually, I just lost the link.
X for that?
That's amazing, man.
Holy smokes. Did we just beat the games? We beat the games.
Talk to me on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern when I'm scrolling through this, and it just fucking
3 red dots. Just like, yeah, Derrick Henry went for 150. I know Nez wanted to do that at first. Yeah.
I love how Nez wanted 150 yards, and we were just like, nah, 50. Like, we took a 100-yard swing.
I mean, you threw some cold water on my face, like slap me, like wake up.
If there was any time to get Nez just to do a 100-yard pivot on his take, it's the Steelers.
Yeah. Thank you. Like, I need to remember who I am, man. Like, that's not me. That was not me.
That was not me.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Can I propose like one last slider one?
What do you post the link for this one? I forgot. I was so excited to max it out at $34 that I forgot to grab the link.
I think I'm about to deplete my role entirely on this segment.
Lower on the Henry one.
I'm telling you, Underdog, they really pissed me off with that Nick Chubb move, and I came hard the rest of this show, and I'm not going to forget that. I'm playing with a chip on my shoulder the rest of this weekend as I build pick'ems.
So I posted that. Do you need it in the private chat, John?
Yeah, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah, that's the Omega 117X multiplier. That link is in the chat on the Badge Bros stream. I can't do it on the Overzet side for YouTube purposes, but yeah.
I can repurpose. There we go. Now we're what were you gonna say?
There's just like some spots and archetype of players that I like this week for longest attempt. And I know Nez said he didn't like the longest stuff.
I'll tail though, brother.
T-word, please. The Pickens, longest reception, the Jahmyr Gibbs, longest run, and the JMO potentially, or I don't know. Like, I was just looking at some of those when we were messing around, like sliding some of these.
I mean, like, I mean, Gibbs and Pickens are probably the two most explosive players in football right now. So
yeah,
right, yeah, and it's like you get a pretty good multiplier.
I mean, dude, you can just the things you can do with a Jahmyr Gibbs. These numbers just keep going up, and I keep liking them. 39.5. This dude's housing one, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That's just that's a clean 34x sweat.
Exactly. I mean, like, and that seems so feasible. And if the other one I was going to add, if you wanted to hedge the shit out of it, is a guy who does it every single week too, is Derrick Henry. And then you hedge yourself against that last one we built. Gives yourself 2 outs.
Kind of like that.
I can't. Yeah. You guys put it in yours.
No, never hedge.
Taking the gives. Never hedge.
39 for 39. Let's go.
Pete, can you drop that one in there?
Yeah.
I mean, like that just seems like such a great
That one's
price
hot,
tag
dude.
for
That like when you think about like the value on like touchdown versus in the way Gibbs gets there, Gibbs like isn't getting those touchdowns at the goal line. I mean, they'll use him occasionally like at the 5, but like if he's getting those 2 touchdowns, one of those is going to be a bomb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
All right, that is fun. Do you have a cute name for this one? Pickens and Gibbs, PG-13.
Smash Brothers.
Quite safe.
There we go.
PG-13X.
Oh, whoa.
All right. Dudes, this has been a blast as always. Right after this, I am going to go get my Deposit Kingdom video posted. Anything else from you guys here before we head out?
Nezzy, you doing it tonight? No strip, aka burrito stream?
Yeah, only got 2 more. Only got 2 more to go. No burritos over here, brother. Only got 2 more.
Nez, you got to keep those streams going even after the Dog Bowl, brother.
I know. But for Dog Bowl purposes, 2 more weeks, so we are definitely firing off. My guy, Best Ball Viper, is really worried about my stream time and Jake Paul and Mike Tyson overshadowing the usual stream time. We're gonna do it. We can. I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried. You guys can watch it in the background.
If you're gonna let me bet money around here on whether people in this chat would rather watch a gimmick boxing fight or my guy Nez go deep in his bag while drafting Dog Bowl teams, the only buddy getting knocked out is Mike Tyson and Jake Paul by Nez.
Like it.
Come on.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you for the encouragement. Yeah. We're running it back. So be there.
Beautiful. John, anything from you and Mr. Good Boy?
No, Mr. Good Boy knows exactly. It's crazy that he just knows exactly what time it is. As soon as the intro or the outro stuff starts, he just knows instantly. No, I'm good. We best of luck to everybody in the Hooch streets tonight, and I will be in the Dog Bowl lobbies for the remainder of the afternoon.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Whether you are on the Badge Bros channel or mine, make sure you guys are subscribed, become YouTube members. One other little plug here. I saw Mark Zorner in the chat. He was the winner or one of the finalists of my giveaway. Him and Steven are going to do a Crutches Hot as Sauce-esque head-to-head battle for the prize money. And we're going to do that on After Dark tomorrow. So they'll be coming on around like 9:15. I'm going to do it in a Google Doc too, so we can like build some drama watching them do their head-to-head picks for that giveaway. So tune into After Dark.
Expand the rosters a little bit. Make it like 8 slots or something.
I'll talk to them. If they're in agreement with that, we could have a little fun with it, add some flex spots for sure.
That's awesome.
All right, guys. We're going to catch you later. And tune in for the No Strip stream later tonight. Peace.